Hello, Tone-Base users. My name is Tarek Harb, and today I would like to talk to you a little bit about coordination. Per guitar playing, not necessarily coordination between the two hands only, but also coordination between the fingers of the same hand as well. I'll be talking mostly about preparation and how that creates good coordination between the hands, and also about two types of preparation that will also basically make your life easier playing the guitar. So that they made, well, these kind of techniques made my life easier. I'm sure many guitarists, many concert guitarists, many professional guitarists use them. This method is a kind of savior for me. The whole idea is that the right hand anticipates the left. So when we are playing in perfect coordination, yes, that they are playing exactly at the same time, pressing with the left hand and playing with the right hand as well. But especially beginners, have to practice the prepared stroke, where you do not cut the notes just for the sake of cutting them short, but you are preparing for the coming note by planting with the next finger. So if I'm playing, I'm doing like so, chromatically from the 8th fret down to the 5th on the first string, and I'm using I am, right? And 4, 3, 2, 1 here. So I'm playing the I, preparing with the left. Then as I prepare with the left, this finger goes down, the third finger, and as I play the M and prepare the I, the other finger goes down as well, the second, and so on. So this, if I do this whereas to not prepare at all, and I play that like that all the time, I will perhaps teach my hands to do large motions all the time. Okay, so my fingers will not learn to economize movement, will not, maybe the tone will suffer a little bit because I'm not at complete control of the tone. You are in complete control of the tone, and therefore your precision when you are on the string with the right hand. So when you do this kind of prepared stroke, I'm training, although it might not sound too nice. Basically, this is one sure way of listening the distance between your pluck and the return, because the return and the planting becomes one. Instead of playing and then returning and then planting and then playing, you are playing and then planting right away. So the return is built in with a plant, so you have one less movement to think of. That's like playing one monophonic line. But when it comes to arpeggios, it's the real savior, in my opinion. This will help, of course, if you play breaststroke. Notice that the first finger here is long note. I am planting for the next note. So when I'm playing 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I'm planting for the next note here on the second string. Therefore, the note is going to ring. I don't care about it. This is not for musical result. This is purely technique and to train your hands to economize emotion. So when you hear this, I'm preparing the next string upwards, physically, downwards, musically, for the next note. So that's why the previous string keeps ringing. Anyhow, what I would like to talk more about is in arpeggios and how this is so useful. In arpeggios, there are two kinds of arpeggios. At all times, they're either rising or descending. Even an arpeggio that sounds haphazard or has a kind of a different order, like the Villalobos Prelude, Etude number 1, arpeggio. It is kind of rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. Within its general rise and general fall, it is going like kind of in a zigzag kind of manner. And that's probably the most elaborate arpeggio we have in our repertoire. But anyways, any rising arpeggio, I want you to apply something called packaged preparation. Okay? And you'll see how that will help with coordination and make you basically a much more precise player. So for example, if I'm playing just a normal C major, let's take the Giuliani 128 to C, G7, for sake of brevity here. And I'm rising in the arpeggio. So I will start by planting all the fingers on the respective strings. Like so. If you see in this smaller camera here, on my left, to my left, I will definitely practice that way. Look, if I do a single preparation, check how my hand is gonna just do more motion. It's nice and connected musically, it actually sounds better. But mechanically and technically, it's much more wasteful than this. Anyways, you can play faster because your fingers are on the strings already, and the return is much shorter. So you can play as fast as you want, given that you always keep the rhythm steady. You have to practice this. There's a tendency to do like a gallop thing with this kind of technique, that's the one pitfall to it. Like that, but you have to make sure. You have to always use your ear and listen carefully. If you do that, then you will really benefit from this type of preparation. So any rising arpeggio, we will plant the fingers together. In this case, you're doing P, I, M, A, and then you're going to play the P and plant so that the thumb is completely independent. And so the music overlaps a little bit, it doesn't sound too muted, and so that your hand doesn't jump. So you will do this. If you look at my smaller camera here on my left. Now the descending arpeggio, we do sequential preparation. Like so. But the sequential preparation, meaning one finger after another, preparing one finger after another, there is a rising bit within the descending arpeggio, between the P and the A. Look, if I start with a P, so there is this rising. We are rising here between the P and the A. So we're going to prepare them together, P and A alone, and then A and then M. So when I come to play the P, the A is going to prepare right with it, really. You see this? And then one by one. Better to put them together. The P and the A. Everything rising together. And let the plant be as a result of a relaxation, of a letting go. So that you play and then you just don't do anything and the finger would go on the string. You kind of just direct it, nudge it to the string. Try not to really control it throughout the motion and consciously. Yes, you want to place it on the string, but it's just a one kind of impulse, and better a one kind of letting go feel. See, I kind of like let go of the A to go towards the E string. Look at this. I'm not like pushing down to plant, because that's extra effort that you don't want to really deal with so much, especially if you're playing phrases that have this kind of repeated arpeggio patterns. This is found a lot in the standard repertoire, these kind of arpeggios, and applying this kind of preparation technique will really help you, first of all, bring them up to tempo properly, and rhythmically sound, and also save you a lot of energy when you play. For example, like Giuliani's Grand Overture. That bit. So you see, this is a descending arpeggio throughout. Although it's descending and we're using sequential preparation, one preparation after the another, between the P and the M there's a rising arpeggio. So if you do, as soon as the P wants to plant and play, the M goes down with it and prepares for the next group of triplets. Here, it's a rising arpeggio, so it's a no-brainer. I'm gonna prepare everything. As soon as the thumb plays, I'm gonna prepare the IM with it. So that's, if I remember it correctly, it goes that way. And this is again a descending arpeggio. So you see, I'm preparing the M with the P. So on and so forth. So this helps me a lot in keeping the hand stable, and therefore minimizing its jumping, and helps with the coordination of the left hand, because I'm anticipating the left hand here as I do the thirds. So it's much easier to go between the thirds and to keep the hand kind of upright, stable. This is stabilizing the guitar too as you do it, so the coordination is way better. There is also this study by Dionisio Aguado. It's in D major, and the first opening measures has this D major and then A7 arpeggio. And this, without the kind of understanding of the preparation, the coordination will go haywire, really. There was no real basis and foundation for the coordination. So here, because I am rising in the arpeggio, all the fingers are down, you see? And I'm kind of sweeping with the left hand, kind of like electric guitar kind of technique, instead of like putting a block chord. So one note after another, and then you notice here I'm rising, and then I'm doing sequential. So now that I'm rising, I'm having the package preparation, and as I'm descending, I'm doing sequential preparation. Look at that. You only, when you have this kind of technique down, so to speak, you only tell your fingers to go faster. You don't have to change any hand position or anything, or think of the lighter touch or anything like that. You just simply tell your fingers, okay, go faster, and they'll do it. Because your fingers are so trained to be close to the strings, and therefore execute the note with less time, and therefore you can play faster. But mainly it is for more precision in playing, for arpeggios, also for scales, and ultimately makes your coordination perfect. Other examples would be like also with tremolo, because if you think of tremolo is like it's like a descending arpeggio, but again between the P and the A it's a rising arpeggio. So we're gonna prepare them together each time. If you want to practice a tremolo very slowly, you see how the A prepares as soon as the thumb plays. So it's kind of like stabilizes the hand and makes sure that the A finger does not go beyond the string that you're playing. Just right at the string where you want to play. Anyway, so this, I'm sure there are many other lessons on tremolo, but this is the idea that you can also apply this kind of preparation concept of packaging versus sequential to tremolo. One last example that I'd like to talk about is the Villa-Lobos study number 1. Although it is kind of a generally rising and a generally descending arpeggio, it is a duples, let's say, 2 notes of continuously rising arpeggio. So if you think between the E and the A, there's a rising arpeggio, right? So I'm gonna prepare them together and then play. And again, between the B and the G, same thing, rising arpeggio. And then between the E and the B, I'm doing PM, but they're rising again, so I'm gonna place them again. And then between the G and the E, they're rising again, but I'm using A and I. So I put them together and then play I. You see, so this will look like this if you look at the smaller camera. See how I'm putting 2 fingers at a time because they're continuously rising. I'm using the package preparation. And then as I descend, there are also a series of rising little bits of arpeggio. So M, A, I, M, P, I, P, I. So you see, continuously applying this package preparation technique. Now, when you do train like this and you warm up like this and you've done it for years, you can apply only sequential. And you will be fine because your hand has already developed this kind of economic way of playing. But you will find that with the years of playing and changing repertoire, playing different things, I at least go back to this basic way of preparation, which is applying the package preparation on any rising arpeggio and then sequential on any descending arpeggio. It's almost like taking the car to the mechanic, you know, changing the oils, changing the brakes, maybe putting new tires. You need to do that with your technique. You have to always go back to the basics. You cannot depend on reflexes all your career. You train your reflexes to be economic and perfect, yes, but with time and that you've not applied these techniques for a long time, you played different repertoire, you probably went into other styles of guitar playing, or you picked up other instruments, or you basically haven't applied these basic foundational techniques every day, they will slowly start to dwindle from your technique, and you will find that what used to be easy is not easy anymore, or vice versa. So you have to always think of going back to the basics. And this is one right hand foundational technique, or practice strategy rather, that I don't know how much I would emphasize it for my students and how much I would advise you to go through this kind of exercise, at least in your warm-up. You don't have to think about it when you perform or when you practice your pieces. 15, half an hour a day, thinking of this kind of technique and honing the nice kind of economic technique with the right hand. You'll see, you'll develop speed and precision and even a beautiful tone, much faster, much easier. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, always you can write to me through Tonebase or through my email. I'll be happy to answer and help you out. Thank you very much.